Hello, people. I am just going over to Facebook. Let me see if I can find Art Joy of Sharing. And I'll put a link for this out there for the group in case they want to join us. So, yeah, I've still been doing my usual stuff. Been a little under the weather this week. It's one of those kind of weeks. It's been rainy and icky, and been working on the kitchen. My legs aren't working real well, so I'm glad I've got my upstairs studio here where I can videotape some stuff for you. But let me see if I can get back to. Come on, show me the live. Tell you. Show me the live. I tell you. There we go. Okay, so some of the things I wanted to talk to you about are saving money. And hey, hi, Minka and Vicky. Hello, hello. So, one of the things that I had found just recently, let's see if I can show you guys. Gotta grab one here. This is what I found on Amazon. They were like $3.99, and it's the same size as the pages from Elizabeth Craft Design. So if you're looking for, a little journal, something like this, go check out that stuff on Instagram because you're going to save a lot of money. I think the ones on their site are between $15 and $17, something like that, but $3.99, for a nice little journal. So the rings are not as big. Let me show you the difference. And these do come in different sizes. This is the smaller one. This is the Elizabeth Craft Design. This is the one from Amazon. And so the rings inside are a little bit smaller. This has a 1-inch ring in here where I think this might be, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches. That didn't bother me a whole lot, because at $3.99 I can buy a lot of these. So wanted to show you that. Dollar store, it's not $1 anymore. It's $1.25. I get that. But some of the things that they have there are worth having. Like these little trays. I throw stuff in here on my desk all the time that I'm working with. And, my punch outs, whatever. Great thing to have. It's got the non-skid base to it. So I think for what they're asking compared to what you get in the other places. Hey, Laura, good morning. My peeps are showing up. Yeah, you might want to check out your dollar store because they're kind of good. The other thing I've been using, you guys have been seeing me doing these. I've been obsessed with these little journal things. Is I'm using these Velcro stickers to put this stuff together with. And Dollar Tree has Velcro stickers in little packages like this. So you can pick these up and use these in your crafts, and you're not going to spend a lot of money. There's like 20 sets in here. That's going to do a lot of little journals and is very inexpensive. Check that out. The other thing I found there, these are not going to be used for what you think they are. These are those phone stands, right? You put them on the back of your phone. Well, they don't have to go on the back of your phone, guys. These can go anywhere. I'm going to hang some of these around in my craft room just to hang stuff from. If I can get into it. That might be the challenge. Right? That might be the challenge. So I'm going to open this one up so you can see what I'm talking about. These are just those little pop-up dealies. And it's got the stick 'em on the back. So you just stick it on to whatever you want to stick it on to. I've got one on my phone back here. This just pops up to prop my phone up like this. But if you go to the dollar store and get these, you can hang these on the side of a cart or wherever, and you've got a nice little place to hang things from. So if I wanted to, just hang some tags or something, these are, tags from the dollar store, and they're chalkboard tags. And I know that these would be a lot more in the craft store, but you could hang a bunch of those on here, stick it on the side of something, and you've got a great place to hang things up. So I grabbed a few of those just because, it's a great way to save some money. The other thing that they have at the dollar store are these picks. If you are ever picking things out of your die cuts, they have these, and it's a great little tool to have. Opening packages is annoying, isn't it? Yeah, I know. It's just anyway. So those are dollar store finds, and like I said, I found these chalkboard tags, and they also had these metal ones. Upstairs, my craft room is in a living space, and I've used black and galvanized metal in that area. So I thought these would be appropriate for the stuff that I have upstairs. Another money-saving deal. I'll get to these later. These are not the money-saving deal. These are so that you can afford those. Is you guys have seen me use these silicone mats. You can buy these on Amazon, and they're great for holding things in place. So if I want to put something down on here, it's going to stop it from moving. Whatever, your stamp pad, your pens and pencils, whatever, it's going to stop that stuff from moving around. Now, a lot of the stores, like Simon Says Stamp, has a similar product. This is $5.99. I looked this morning for 4 of these silicone trivets. You can get 4 of them for $8.99 on Amazon. So if you're looking for these, these can be used in the kitchen for your hot pots and that sort of thing. But, save one out. Hi, Sybil. Save one out for your craft space because they're handy. And if you're going to get them for the kitchen, you might as well have them for your craft space. And it's a lot cheaper to buy that way than it is to buy this way. Or if all you want is this one with a cute little dog paw, then get that one. But I'm just saying they're available and they're useful tools. So yesterday I was doing some things in the basement. And so one of the things I found in my stash was this antiqued and hand-finished parchment, 20 sheets from Hobby Lobby. Now, I'm sure I did not, I probably bought it when it was like 50% off or something, but that's still like $5. We were in Daiso, and they had the same sort of paper in Daiso, and I think it was, maybe $1.50, $2, something like that in Daiso. So if you've got a Daiso store near you, check it out because they do have stationery like this, and if you're into this kind of weathered antique looking stationery paper, they've got it. Oh, this also is a dollar store thing. If you want cheap twine to put on your tags, you get a nice big roll of it at the dollar store to use. And I don't know what this would cost in the craft store because I didn't look, but I'm sure it's a savings. Okay, so what I was doing yesterday is I was working on some October things, some papers and things like this that this is on just on a transparency, and I made some papers with some of the handmade sprays and things that I was making. You can check out that video that I did yesterday live to show you how I made the sprays and things for this. If you're interested and you missed that one, it's there. But I was making things for October. And so I was digging out old papers. Like, these are things in my stash. I've got 6x6 papers from a long time ago from Prima. And I thought, well, I need to be using those. And I thought, well, that'll make a good background paper for this one. And so I was digging through my stamps looking for, die cuts and stamps that are going to work for the Halloween theme, for the fall theme. And I found a few. So I'm just going to ink. This is the Amalgam Gina K Black. I find it's one of the nicest black inks. It's a hybrid ink, but it's waterproof, fade resistant, all that good stuff. And I think I don't quote me on this, but it may even stamp on acetate and stuff. I should try that. Let me try this on acetate and see if it works. I need to bring my tool up here. So I've got this in a stamp tool because I want to make sure it's nice and black and dark. So I'm going to stamp it several times. Just to make it rich black, a little bit there in the middle of her dress and on her hat. I want to get good and dark. This is an old stamp set from Stampin' Up, I think. I've had it for a long time, but I just thought the witch was so cute. And sometimes you can find these old Stampin' Up ones on Etsy. So if you're interested in this one, let me see if I can give you some details. It's a real cute little set. It's called Autumn Wicked, S1108, Wicked. And it's got a witch's hat and a number of different Halloween things here. Wicked Halloween, put your best foot forward, hats off to you. It's got this little witch hat. I mean, it's a cute stamp set. So anyway, I like that once it's nice and dark. So I'm just going to take a rag, wipe off any excess ink. And before I put that away, I should try stamping on some acetate, shouldn't I? So I understand dinner is important, right? So that's kind of cute, right? That's going to make it a cute card front. I'll have to show you the ones that I pulled out. I was just using up stuff yesterday. And, oh dear, I didn't get them all finished. Boy, these tubs are really tight once you get them fastened down. I didn't get them all finished, as you can see. But But I got some started. Eat, drink, and be scary. This needs some kind of quote on it. This needs some kind of imagery, maybe some fluff or something. There's a little spooky cat. Beware of the bumps in the night. That one I think is pretty much finished. It's got a little bat and a jack-o'-lantern. What do they call that? They change. They're like 3D dimensional stickers. Anyway, they're kind of fun. This one I think is kind of done. There's pictures of my mother and my granddaughter. Mom is dead and granddaughter is now third year of college. So yeah, these are really old pictures, but they're fun. Oh, and there she's holding the babies. Okay. Nostalgia. But see how this trick or treat, I don't know if you see how it changes into something spooky. That's kind of fun. So my jack-o'-lantern, those trick or treat, those things change up. So these were cards I was working on because, we got to send the kids some cute stuff. And acetate. Here's a piece of acetate that I cut down. I think I want a backer paper behind that though. So let me just quickly cut a card base. I hope you guys are all doing well and that, the weather hasn't been too bad for you. We've had some weird weather, cold and rainy and, vacillates between 85 and 40 something. It's just weird weather. Okay, so I got a couple of card bases out of this. And let me put this in here and back because I think what I'm going to do is fasten this onto my card front. And so this acetate is going to go on the card front. Now I could stamp it underneath, but let's see if we can stamp right on the acetate. Why not? So now that I've wiped all the ink off, cold and rainy. Yeah, it is kind of a relief at times. Okay, I'm going to ink this back up again. See if I can get this to stamp right on the acetate. Acetate's slippery. Sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate very well. But it's in the stamp positioner, so I'm thinking I've got a better chance of it stamping on there. Now it's going to stay wet longer just because it's non-porous. So that didn't stamp all that well on the acetate. I can stamp it again, but you can see that it did not do all that well on the acetate. So what I can do is this acetate can be set aside to dry, and I can stamp it directly on the card and then put this acetate over it, and I can actually put a 3D thing so that it looks like it's popped up. Let's see. Where am I going to put this where it's going to dry? Good question, Peg. All right. So let me stamp this. Some of that ink on the back of that acetate was coming off on the card too. So I'm going to need to let that dry because it's non-porous, and it's going to take a while for that ink to dry. It might even take a day or two. I don't know. We'll give it a try. So if this is stamped underneath, it should show through the acetate and be kind of cool. I don't know, that portion of her dress just does not want to ink up real well for some reason. I'll give it one more try. Give it super duper pressure. Okay, good enough. So now this can work as an overlay on the card, like so. If I get it positioned squarely, it'll look even better, won't it? There we go. There we go. Well, but you guys get the drift. That's going to be, people are going to wonder, how did she get that to work? How did she get that to work? Now, sometimes if you've got stuff that's sitting on top that's not moving where you want it to, you can just take a cotton swab or I've got little teeny tiny cotton swabs. This is just a regular swab, but you know, if this is too gooey, you know, you can take a cotton swab and move that ink around. And, you know, you can get those little teeny tiny ones too that are like microscopic to do this with. And then you can get into all the detail areas. Just a way of cleaning up a stamped image like that. But that'll make a cool card, right? I'm so glad you guys enjoyed the chat yesterday. If you guys are part of Art Joy of Sharing, which is our Facebook group, every once in a while I throw up a Zoom chat so that we can chat with each other and get together. So if you're not a member, think about it. You know, if you like to get together with other artists and talk about life, it's a fun time. We always have a fun time with people. And I'm doing my best to stay active when I've got a minute or two to spare making things. So that was a Halloween stamp. I was also going to try stamping some of this stuff. These are some of those papers that I made. When did I do these? Friday? Did I do these Friday or Saturday? Maybe Saturday early, maybe. It was part of that live. But it's got, you know, these cool papers that I was making. This can overlay on that one, or it can stand alone like this. But I thought that some of these would be great to use for backgrounds. So these are the ones I was punching the leaves out of. These fall leaves like this. And once you've got this spray done, you know, we were making our own sprays, which was kind of fun. Just with the inks and things that I already own, you know, go look at your stash and see what you have in your stash. And then let's see, let's grab. I need to go down. into another drawer here and find some fall color. So I'm going to get some. These are those ink pads that I filled with my distress ink. You can buy ink pads. If you've got bigger pads or the refills, you can make your own. Thanks, Vicki. And so I liked this brush corduroy, excuse me. And these are just like the little 1-inch pads. And I put sponge dauber in the back of each of these. Oh, yeah. And it was still wet. All right, that calls for my rag. Good thing I wear an apron, right? But I was thinking, I've got these fall leaves. And I want to give them more texture and stuff. So I started looking through different stamps and things that I have. Set that aside. And I found these that have the script on them. I also found this one that's got this kind of distressed bubbly look to it. So I thought, well, number one, let's take our ink pad, ink that up, and let's use it on these leaves just to give them a little highlight, a little darker tone where they're crisping and drying in the fall, right? And they're actually done on, this was done on photo paper. I was spraying photo paper because I have a whole bunch of that in the basement that needs to be used up. You like the overlay? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's kind of fun to try different things. And I've got packages of overlay because I was making those shaker cards. And shaker things inside of your journals are fun too. Like I was making these little shaker packages that have buttons and sequins and stuff. And what I used for that is one of those chip bag sealers where you just go along the edge and it seals the bag of your chip package. But those are inexpensive too, inexpensive craft tools. Some of you have a fuse tool already and you can use that to seal those up with. But if you don't, those little potato chip bag sealer things work just fine. And, use what you have. I cross over between the kitchen and the craft room a lot. You notice that first thing with that ink pad holder, the silicone pad this morning. So now this is where I punch these out. And I'm just going to grab a couple of these. And I want to add some more. Well, if I can get them out of there. My fingers are not working the greatest. Here we go. There's that one. And there's that one. These are just punched. I've got a lot of punches too. Punches and dies are very useful. So I'm just going to ink. I'm just going to ink this stamp with that brown because I want to add some more texture on the surface of these leaves. So now I've got this inked up. Whoops. And my leaves moved. I'm just going to stamp right across there. Come on, get in there. Well, anyway, you guys get the drift. It's just going to stamp right across those leaves. And add some texture to my paper. Get whatever extra off of that stamp. Wasn't much left there for some reason. Anyway, it's another way of creating a layer. Now these are wet. They're going to have to dry. And I'm just going to set them back in the tray to dry. I'm going to go on to something else here. Put the lid back on that. And put that dauber back in the back. As we used to say, chack of the birch, in the chack of the birch. So these can just go over here. And I can punch all kinds of imagery out of those papers. And I really love this one. I should probably scan that one. This is some more of that photo paper. And I think this one has a combination of both inks on it. It has both the dye ink and the alcohol that we were creating in a spray. So back to square one. And then, of course, you know, you can alter those looks with some of these overlays, you know, just by adding another color overlay. So I think, well, I've got some ink out here. Let's do this one in Vintage Photo. Remember, these are just those cheap stamp pads. Now, I don't like them as much as the felt, and what I'm thinking about doing is just gluing a piece of felt on top of these, because these are sponge. Thinking about taking some felt and just gluing it on top, because I've got craft felt down in the basement. And then I'll have a felt top to this that'll hold the ink a little bit better and not be quite as squishy. And that's not going to take very much felt to cover those. So, because okay, this is one kind. Let me stamp this and I'll show you the difference. This is one kind. And then the ones that come from the manufacturer with distress ink are like this. And you can see they look very similar. You know, here's a peacock feather. And there is a peacock feather in your package, Laura, so look for that. This, if you look at this, it has a felt pad here. So I think if I glue a felt pad to the top of those, it might be even better. So I like that. See if I got enough ink here to do it again. Yeah, not bad. Got some script on there, and it's subtle. You know, that's what I want with these, is something kind of subtle. I'm actually going to soak up any extra that's sitting on top of that one. Make it look more like, oh, speaking of which, old script. I got a book in the other day, which has pages that I want to use for stuff like this. This is George Washington's expense account. And I just thought it was so cool because when you flip through here, it's got pages that have, let's see, that have the actual journals, his expense journals. So these are going to be fun to use in my collage. Lots of fun pages here. And you can see it's been torn out of the journal. There's the tear mark and photocopied on here. So look around at your used bookstore. I went through some old books recently, and I sent some pages of old books off to my friends. They each had their own desire for what they liked. I had a lot of that kind of stuff. And so I was trying to, spread the wealth around, because I'm not going to use all of it. But I mean, sometimes the children's books are really, really good. They'll have great imagery in them, like this, that are good to use in your journals, on your ATCs, all that. And if you get small books, the imagery is smaller. So, I mean, this little guy here with the crown is pretty cool. It's just got all kind, there's keys, and I mean, the writing is cool in itself, but I like to find books like this that have fun stuff that can be used in your collage work. So, and secondhand stores are great for that. Secondhand stores, we've got half-priced used bookstores, that sort of thing, that you can always find good stuff in. Okay, so I wanted to use this one too. Let's get, I don't know. Let's just get some ink out here first. Let's get some greens. And here's a tumbled glass. And of course, some brown. You know me, I gotta have my brown. This is walnut stain. Don't need a whole lot of that. And I need a spray bottle. Here we go. So I'm just going to take a spray bottle. And I'm going to mix that around a little bit. Oh, well, mix it around with this paper a little bit, I guess. Yeah, why not? It's only paper. And then I'm going to drag some paper through that. And this is very porous paper. This is the Nina paper. So let's get some more blue. This is not watercolor paper. Watercolor paper would react differently. It would not soak in quite as much, quite as immediately. But I'm okay with that. Get some more, a different brown here. I need to get some watercolor paper up here, don't I? Probably have some in some journals, but I was just playing around this morning. Okay, so that is a very light brown, which is pumice stone. Actually, it's kind of a gray brown. Yeah, gray brown. And let's get a little black soot. Crunch this up. Good Halloween stuff, right? Yeah, good Halloween stuff. Now I need my rag. And have a good day, Laura. I'll chat with you later. Okay, so one of the new things I decided I had to try were these watercolor pencils. So I'm going to be the guinea pig for you guys on this. I did, they do peel nicely. So like if you want to peel the cover off, you can. However, you're going to lose I was glad that they put the name down at the bottom so you're not peeling the name off right away, because as you peel these, you're going to lose the information that's on here. But they peel much easier. Remember those crayons that I got from Dina Wakely that were just a bear to peel? I ended up getting a potato peeler out to peel them because the peeling stuck horribly. And I think that the manufacturers at Ranger heard a few people on that one and said, okay, we're not going to make that mistake again, because these peel off like this pretty well. And I want that because I want to be able to expose the color here, because these are solid sticks. These are pencils full of color. And the cool thing is that I can use my watercolor brush. I don't want that fine one. I want one that's got a little more oomph to it. Do I have any of those up here? Yeah, here's a bigger one. This is one of my favorites. This is from Pentel. And if you need to replace any of yours, I would recommend the Pentel because they're soft and squishy. They don't hurt your hands. And you can get them in the different sizes. I like to buy them in a set where you get the 3 different sizes, because there's a large, medium, and a little fine tip one too that you get in that set. But you can wet this up and pick up some of that color and just, well, if I can get it flowing here, get it flowing. There we go. Get it to drop off of there. And this is a wet crayon now, so it's got more juice to it. And I can move it around like watercolor. So I thought I'd give these a try. It's regular, it works just like a crayon. You can rub it down just like a crayon. But what you get then is you may have the lines through there. But it's nice to add color in this way with these pencils. And, where I see something that looks like it needs some more color, I can come in and add easily to this background and get some of that green going in here. So, yeah, I took the plunge and I got all 3 sets because I love the distress colors. Now, you may not be a fan of the distress colors, but I like all these grayed down tones. I'm not so much of a bright tone person. Hey, Josie, how are you? So that's why I ended up getting those crayons. But I'm going to stamp one last thing here. I think I will. Now this is still damp, so the ink may wick out, which I'm okay with. I'm going to get the black soot because I'm just creating those backgrounds for those Halloween cards, remember? And we're going to have a whole bunch of fun with Halloween stuff here. I always loved it when the kids would come ring the bell and we do the trick or treat thing, and they'd do a little something and get a treat, and we don't get that many anymore. Our society has ruined that for our children. I remember going out when I was that age, and I would go trick or treat for UNICEF, and we'd have a cocoa and popcorn party after we trick or treated for UNICEF. And then, people were always generous. They saw we were collecting for a good cause, and they would give us candy, even though, they'd already given us a donation for UNICEF. People were good. You could go around the neighborhood and not worry about it. I know a lot of my new neighbors. It's kind of nice to know who you're living by. It's nice to have good neighbors. Let's see if this is transferring. Oh, yeah. So that's making a nice grungy background. I might come up here just a little bit, see if there's any ink left. Not much. Oh, helps you get the ink part of it. So even some of those images that I showed you from those books, they would make fun greeting cards too, because, they've got sorcerer's hats and all that sort of thing. You don't have to, I'm using up stuff from years ago that I've had that just needs to be used. But you don't have to have all the stuff that I've got. You can just use a lot of the things that you already have. So that's a really nice grungy looking background for a Halloween card. But it's wet and it's going to have to dry down. So I think, I don't know how long I've been on here today, but I am going to take some time. I've got some projects I need to work on. We have an appointment with the VA tomorrow, so I probably won't be on tomorrow. So that's kind of it for me this weekend. Thanks for hanging out with me. So glad to see you guys in person. Haven't seen some of you in a while. And have a great Sunday. Enjoy the fall weather and what it brings. And we will be seeing you for more fun creating this fall. Bye, guys.